Welcome back to the Muck podcast. We are doing a 2024 Democratic National Convention recap with our executive producer and friend of the pod, Alfredo Olvera. Welcome back to the podcast.
Well, thank you, Hillary.
You really are coming in. Your connections, you're coming in handy around here at this podcast. I'll tell you what. We got a good producer.
Yeah, we do.
Get it for the gossip and not for the money.
Yeah. So you were so lucky. Like you talked a little bit on your live Instagram video with Tina about how you were elected to be a delegate. You had to run for it, and you get elected by the community, the Democratic community here in Broward County, to be a delegate and represent Florida at the Democratic National Convention, which is a huge honor, right?
It is.
How many delegates total from Florida? Do you know?
It's like 235. I should know the number,
It's
but it's a lot.
Yeah.
A lot of people went there. Yeah.
And we saw you on TV, very famous.
Yay. Thank you. My 6 seconds of fame.
Yeah,
Yay.
please. Don't say you never were famous. You at least got the 6 seconds.
No, but it's cute. It's fun. It's a fun moment when you don't know that you're on TV. That number one. It's fun when people tell you I saw you on TV because you don't know where the camera is pointing at. It's just, and then suddenly like people start texting you and you're like, oh, this is fun.
Yeah. Amazing. We love it.
People are watching.
Yes, of course. It was listen, I don't know. I feel like the ratings were through the roof for this Democratic National Convention. It was very historic. So many incredible speakers. We're at a moment here, which I'm sure you feel it because you were there, but we could feel it at home, of this thing that is about to happen. I think we're going to win. I feel like we're going to win. And how did it feel being in there?
So multiply that by 100 or more.
Oh my God.
Because you don't, on TV, as I'm watching clips of TV, because I didn't watch any TV while I was there, as you watch the clips when I come back, you don't hear the noise that is behind the speakers. You don't feel that energy that comes from everybody, like the over 50,000 people, whatever it was at the center. You don't feel that on TV, but when you're in the room, you actually can feel that energy, and it just gives you goosebumps.
Yeah. I can't imagine.
I know that when we talked, you used the word joy, and throughout the coverage of that convention, that word joy was being used. So can you talk about what that was like and what is meant by that joy for the Democrats?
So that was the message of the I don't know if it was intended or unintentional, but it was a message of the convention. It was just joy because we come from such a dark moment with the Donald Trump campaign, and although the 4 years with Biden have been incredible for everybody, it's the comparison, right? The contrast in between the Republicans and the Democrats, where one makes it look like the world is ending, and the Democrats were just experiencing joy, the joy of getting this country ahead and looking at the next 4 years. So everybody fell in that mood, and I think everything that they did with some moments that it can't be all joy all the time, but there were some powerful moments throughout the convention. But I think that if you look at that messaging that was presented, even in those kind of sad moments, like very powerful stories that were told, you could see of how you can turn that message around in the next 4 years, or how we can have more of that sadness and more of that anger that people feel if we elect Donald Trump. Well,
and also because, we are three very overly informed, overly involved individuals in politics. We're consumed by it. At least, I feel like I am sometimes. It is strange to have this feeling as a Democrat that the joy can come from politics, but it's because politics and government and what they're there for is to improve on the lives of the American people, not to make them worse. And so to think that we could have someone in the White House who has the best interest of the American people, and not just this many American people, everybody. She would be everyone's president, not just corporations or rich people or anyone or white people, right? It's for everyone. And there's something about that. And there's something about her and Tim Walz that do make you believe that's what they're there for.
They're the perfect couple.
Oh
like
my
they're
gosh,
the
I can't
perfect
get
president
enough.
and vice
Talking about that.
president.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like Joe Biden and Kamala, like that. I still remember that phone call.
Yes.
We
did it, Joe.
Joe.
Yeah.
It's that energy continues to pass along. We're gonna make sure that energy continues.
Yes.
It's just like now it's more obviously Joe Biden is it's old.
Yeah.
and the energy that he has is not the same as what Kamala is going to provide and what Tim Walz is going to provide, but that is sort of like an energy that connects with every single person in the nation. But for those who watch all 4 days, you can see the shift. Like we started on Monday really up high, and she showed up.
Oh my
Yeah.
God!
And it was all
that little moment.
all
everybody
full of
went crazy.
nobody knew she was not on the schedule. I just show Hillary the long list of speakers that we have. A lot of 80% of those you didn't even see on TV.
Right.
And that's not even counting the ones in the mornings that we all had and each delegation. So it was very high energy, a lot of excitement. Then on Tuesday you got the Obamas, and it was just like telling us what to do.
Yes.
Telling us what to do, and pretty much the Obamas spoke my language, which I've been telling people: stop waiting for the party to come and knock on your door.
Yeah, you're right.
And then on Wednesday we have Tim Walz, and sort of like the messages start shifting a little. And then on Thursday when she shows up, although you can see the happiness of her and how grateful, and that idiot, like that orange buffoon, says like, why did she say thank you so many times? You say thank you because you have thousands and thousands of people here. Of course, when people give you like 5 minutes ovation, you say thank you. And
he expects it. That's the difference.
That
For
is
doing
the
not a
difference.
lot,
And then she comes in, and the tone on her speech, which I think was one of the best speeches ever. It's just like so commanding.
Yes.
Like,
presidential is what I said on the podcast today. She was
So
she went from
commanding,
this candidate to she looked like and sounded like a president.
which if you know the Kamala Harris story, she's a prosecutor. It's just like she's never really had that opportunity to show that part of her, but I'm sure that the people in the courtrooms have seen that, right?
And I feel like we didn't get to see that before, like 4 years ago.
Right.
I feel like we didn't get to see that because the focus is on Joe and she's the vice president candidate. And I still have this like, oh, why didn't I just sort of be behind her the whole
VPs
time?
are supposed to be seen, not heard.
Right.
So.
But because in the past it was always like, you can't connect with her, right? There was that stuff that people would say, and I was guilty of it too, but that is not the case. Like, she is personable, you connect with her, you feel like the energy coming from her.
The thing that's incredible about, we were talking about this on the podcast today, but the thing that's incredible about this moment is in the last 30 days, it's been a miracle beyond anything I could have ever imagined or expected. And the fact that she was given this opportunity, and she not only has risen to this occasion, she has exceeded any sort of expectations from her, the joy and energy that she's bringing and how people are connecting with that, but also this Tim Walz pick has just pushed it even further, and how together they have created something that was never could have been expected. And so how did you feel at that time about the Biden stepping out and Kamala coming in?
So I want to pause people for a second and bring us back to 2020, right? Right in the middle of the pandemic. People say that Democrats are not united, but I remember that moment when everybody just went behind Joe Biden, like stood behind him, and we suddenly had a nominee, right? It's like, I feel like in the last few years when Democrats need to be united, we have been united.
Yeah.
And people are forgetting about that moment because 2020 felt like a century ago. When we were at home making bread.
You still make good bread, by the way. Alfredo makes the bread.
One thing I got from the pandemic: good bread and 20 pounds.
It's so good.
So to me, like when that moment happened, like that Sunday, where were you that Sunday?
Yeah.
Like I personally was on vacation in Ecuador, and I remember didn't have a signal, and I got a signal to where I was, because I was in a little bit of a remote area. And then it's like, hey, we need a quote from you about Joe Biden. And then suddenly like,
Oh my
and it had just
gosh.
happened like a couple minutes before.
Yeah.
There was this part of me that it was really nervous because is this going to be, you know, as a delegate, particularly because it was my first time, but I heard so many stories of like, you know, a contested convention
Yeah.
where there's going to be more than one candidate. And you worried, right? And you say like, who else is gonna be the idiot who's gonna jump? Because to me,
Yeah.
even when there were talks after the debate, the only person that I could see coming forward, it was Kamala Harris. Because there
Right.
was no way in the world that you would skip over a woman, especially for a Black South Asian, a woman, American woman. So it was that. So it was nervous, and then suddenly Joe Biden announces that he's endorsing her,
Oh.
and it was just chills, right?
Yes.
It was just so amazing to
Thank
see
God, thank God, yeah.
like the Florida Democratic Party delegates got on a phone call that night, and it was like everybody was behind it. I'm sure that every single state chair was behind, had the same type of goals. And then the next day, all the chairs of all the chairs from every single state Democratic chair supported Kamala Harris. And the women met, and the men met, and
oh,
what?
that's-
Yeah,
The
it was
Deadheads met.
Yeah.
the what? I'm sorry?
Deadheads. Deadheads, yeah.
Yeah, so it was like so it was incredible. It was this energy, and we kept it all the way to the convention. So
Oh.
we come in from this sense of unity, this sense of excitement, and the delegates were so excited and brought it into the convention, and you got to see it on TV.
Amazing.
And so when Joe Biden gets up there, how is the reaction? Because I was crying
Yeah.
watching.
Oh,
this from home.
it was emotional.
So yeah, so what was the emotion? How
It was
how were people
emotional.
reacting?
Okay, so I'm gonna give you a little bit of the background. You see those
Okay.
little signs that they
Yes.
give you? It is amazing. I love this kind of stuff.
Did you get all the signs home safely?
I did.
Okay. good.
Without the sticks,
Yeah,
without
yeah.
the sticks.
Oh, yeah.
And if anybody wants to bid on them, I'm gonna open a bid for Get Out the Vote.
Oh.
Ooh!
Oh,
He is a
Brilliant.
marketing genius.
Brilliant.
He's
So-
genius,
Brilliant.
genius.
So I brought a
genius.
couple. I
Oh.
brought a couple, and we're gonna bid, and we're gonna use
I
that
wanna
money
bid on
to
it.
buy signs and to buy something else.
Oh my
And yeah,
God.
but I brought a lot of stuff. But
Oh my God.
back to what we were talking. So a little bit of that is the arena is like just people, and then suddenly you start seeing all those little things pop up. It's like it's a production.
Yeah,
it's
it is.
It's
oh,
a
my- I was
logistical
thinking that
production.
too. Yes, yes.
And I always thought that maybe they have it all under the seat.
Yeah.
No,
What
they
is
don't.
it?
It's like people have bags of it on the sides by
They
the
just start-
entrance to the seats, and then they start, and everybody suddenly, like when you see it on camera, it's like boom, boom, boom,
Yeah,
boom. Where
yeah.
did these signs come from?
Because
Yeah.
every speaker almost had their own sign, right?
Yeah.
Pretty much, pretty much. And so the message was, "We love you, Joe.
Yeah.
We love Joe." So the sign says, "We heart Joe,"
Mm-hmm.
and it was just incredible. You could see it in his face. He
Yes.
was teary-eyed too. It was a thank you to Joe Biden.
I can
And-
cry now, like just thinking.
It's a
I-
selfless
like,
act
this
that he
act,
did.
It's incredible.
It is incredible.
It's incredible.
Because you know what? That's something Donald Trump will never do.
No.
Yeah.
Donald Trump will run again
Yeah.
into it. Yeah.
He's literally
Until he
still,
can't run
but he's
anymore.
still talking in his speeches like he's so desperate to have Joe Biden as the candidate because that's all his taglines. He doesn't have anything else to do, so he keeps talking about he can't believe he stepped out, he can't believe he did this because
Yeah.
he wants to
That's
run
old-
against Joe
yeah,
Biden.
that's old news, Trump. It's old news.
Yeah, no, so he comes out and it's just this complete standing ovation for
For a long
him
time.
for a long time. And I think we also was that the same day. I'm sorry, everything is a blur right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
But who else do we have that night?
Jill Biden, right?
Joe Biden, who I had met at the White House for Pride. I just, you
Oh,
know.
and his daughter Ashley introduced him as
Yes,
that. Did you
granddaughter.
meet her? His his daughter is
Oh,
Ashley.
his daughter.
Did you
Oh,
meet her at the White House?
That,
That's
yeah. I met her. I actually had a very nice conversation
Yeah,
with her.
'cause she
was just,
complimented her beautiful outfit.
Yeah.
she was wearing this beautiful outfit, and she was just running free without Secret
She's
Service. And
gorgeous. Yeah.
she's absolutely beautiful. And she was telling me about her foundation that
Mm-hmm.
she has and all the work that she's doing. And when I told her that it was for Florida, she was like, "We haven't lost hope on Florida."
Oh, thank God.
Yeah.
Somebody. We're still here. We're
I
still
know,
here.
but that night, some of the folks, can we talk about first night? Let's talk about the first night, right? Like everybody brought it home, and so we had Tony Goldwyn.
Oh, Mr. President.
Mr. President.
Hi.
He was the MC that night.
Yes.
Then we had Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who
Ooh,
was absolutely
Beautiful speech.
fabulous. And then we had Hillary. I know Hillary.
No, I cried during the speech.
I am gonna tell you, it was just you cried during the speech. You would have cried when she came out. Because it was just the sort of first, Hillary's one of the best speakers ever.
Yeah.
And that speech that she brought it from Shirley Chisholm to all the way to Kamala Harris, and how he connected everything. It was just beautiful, right? But I think also people were expecting that, and when she came out, they wouldn't even let her talk.
Yeah, that was another standing ovation.
I don't know what you guys saw on TV, but it was a long standing ovation.
Yeah, it was long.
It was a long standing ovation, and when she wanted to say something, people clapped.
Yeah.
So
it was a reminder of where we've come from. I mean, like I said, it was 8 years ago, but it felt like it was a longer time.
It does.
But really, she went through it during her campaign, fighting Trump.
and even before her campaign, right?
Yeah,
Like
she's always been a punching bag.
Yeah, she's always been Americans' press punching bag for a long time.
Well, all right, we'll talk about why that is in a minute when we talk about.
But anyway, so then we have Andy Bashir, and then we have Raphael Warnock, who is absolutely wonderful. Dr. Biden came out, and she's always good, and she's very demure.
Yes.
The word of the moment.
The word of the moment.
Yes.
And then Joe Biden comes out to close the night,
my
and
God.
it was just you could feel like the love.
When you walk out of there after a night like that, do you feel like the energy is still going? Like,
you feel like you won, right? Like you feel like, okay, we got this.
Yeah.
We
this
won
is night one. You've got 3 more days.
This is night one, and people are like, oh.
Yeah.
But
and you got to go to bed right away because like you had said, you had to get up early in the morning to get all the stuff you need the next day.
That night was the longest night.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because we had a few hiccups. Part of it was protesters, because freedom of speech, and we got to protest our own party.
Every convention always.
Every convention has that, but this time we're a little more, and they were far away, but they were still like.
They were blocking roads.
Then second, you had the future president of the United States arriving, the current president of the United States arriving, the past president of the United States arriving.
So it's a lot of security.
So it's a lot of security. So they didn't take us the original route. So we had to wait for like an hour. So we were like, it took us 3.5 hours to what it could have been a 45-minute total trip.
Oh my
When
gosh.
you walk in there, is it metal detectors? Like how did they keep it secure?
There's everything. First, there's layers of protection, right? Like even the drop off is a little bit far away, so you walk, and God knows what other security measures they take that we don't know.
Probably a lot,
Yeah, probably a lot. Who knows? Dogs, sniffing bombs, everything. Yeah. It's the most safe place. They wanted to make sure that everybody there is safe.
Absolutely.
So then you have like if you are right by the buses, the buses goes through like sort of like a corral, and then they drop you off in a zone. You walk and you go through security, and they check your bags and everything, and they give you a list of things that you cannot bring, like certain type of bottles, but whatever. If you are just a viewer, you cannot bring a selfie stick. You cannot bring. There's a lot of things that you cannot bring. Obviously, they let you bring medicine and certain type of food if you are based on. But it was very smooth. It was never an issue of like.
Yeah, we're at the point now with all this that it shouldn't be.
Yeah, it's not an issue. But it did take a long. So it started at I think the convention.
You clear all those people, so it takes time.
Yeah, so it took time. So it took us 3.5 hours to get from point A from the hotel to the first day.
That's a long time.
That was a long time, but that wasn't expected. Like some people went earlier and they arrived. No
problem.
Always lessons learned after the first day.
Yes,
the next day you're like, we're going earlier today.
And everything runs more smoothly because they know, I can't bring this, I can't bring that, and so.
People are running all day because you have the McCormick Center that has speakers and meetings for the caucuses, so that happens all day on every single day.
I wanted to ask about that because you said you have your Florida delegate speaker, so. What was that like having your own, like the states doing their own thing outside of like the main convention?
So every morning you have to get credentials, and it's at the ungodly hour of 6:30. For you people who have kids, it's
Yeah,
okay.
we're up.
You're up.
You were texting me. I'm like, I'm going to work.
Yeah,
What are you doing
I
awake
know.
right now?
So you have to go pick up your credentials, and the reason why you pick up your credentials so early is because they want to see who's not coming, so they can fill in the room. So if you don't come, and every party has their own credentials. So if you let's say if you're an elected delegate and you say you can't show up, then they move a alternate delegate up that doesn't have floor
Nice.
pass.
Nice.
So they want to make sure that all seats are taken. So that's why you go. And then right at 7:30, you have the speakers. And in a hotel, there's like, depending on the hotel, like 3, 4, 5 delegations. We were with Pennsylvania and Delaware and a couple other states in the hotel. Yeah. And we stay at the beautiful Palmer House. The lobby is beautiful. The room's not so much. Palmer House, remodel your rooms.
Ew.
But the price was right? So anyway, and then they have every depending on the size, they have a ballroom. So we use I think the biggest ballroom, and you have speakers. And the first day was just Shapiro. The first day is the most energetic one.
Yeah.
Just because everybody's in town and they go in and go from hotel to hotel, from room to room, just speaking, and people just getting everybody excited for what the next 4 days are gonna
Yeah.
be, and that's every day. So we helped a little bit with checking the first day, Jason, Melissa, and I. So we got up a little early, like we were up there at 6 o'clock in the morning, so I had to get up at 5:30. And the night before, the first night, it was the welcoming party. It was huge, like everybody was there.
Sounds so much fun.
The welcoming party was huge, open bar.
Oh.
But before that, HRC had the queer takeover party.
Oh my
I think that's what they call it.
Was this Sunday or Monday?
Sunday.
Okay.
So we went from like 6 o'clock until 8 o'clock.
Oh my
I went
gosh.
personally to that party, to the HRC at one of the bars, and it was incredible. And then from there I went to the DNC welcoming party, and that it was like, until like 11 o'clock at
So
night.
tell me about this party. Like what?
Yeah, who do you
what
see walking around? All the hot
like
big
what
guys?
kind
In
of?
that, I was a little late to that one, to the DNC party, because I wanted really to go to the LGBTQ party that HRC was throwing up, and it was just everybody, every elected official from states were
Oh
just
my
walking
God,
around.
amazing.
Not so many of the big shots,
Yeah.
but you could feel state reps and state senators and
How fun? How fun?
yeah, they had this
I wonder,
gigantic
I wonder if
cheesecake.
there's anybody there we've ever covered on the podcast.
Yeah, probably a couple of them.
Yeah.
So you go to this to the pier, and it was a nice event.
Ooh,
and
Chicago, the pier.
yeah,
Oh my
in my
God,
ballroom there. I know. So
amazing.
it was fun.
City.
It was
How
fun.
fun is Chicago?
I'm sorry.
How much fun is Chicago?
Oh, I've been to Chicago many times.
Oh,
I love it,
my
and I've been
God.
around that time for market days, and it's so much fun.
That
So
was the
much
weekend
fun.
before, right?
That was the weekend
Yeah.
before. So
Okay,
anyway,
so tell us about the second night.
the second night, feels like a long memory.
So that would have been Hillary
Yeah.
and the Obamas. Oh, so I guess we kind of talked about that.
Yeah.
No, the Obamas were the second night. Hillary was the first night.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
the Obamas was the second, and everybody was excited about it.
Oh,
the
so what
Obamas.
did you think? I talked about it on the podcast, but what did you think about
The dick joke
the dick
that
joke
Obama
of
made.
Obama?
Everybody was laughing
Oh,
so
my
hard.
God.
Everybody was laughing. Listen, President Obama is probably one of the best speakers
Oh
in the
my
world.
gosh.
And he's hot.
My opinion,
Hot.
the older he gets, the better looking
Oh,
he gets.
Honey,
But Michelle Obama was amazing. Like he let's talk about him first. His
Okay.
speech was always good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But it was a little too long.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
I could have cut it about 15 minutes. I could have gotten
Yeah.
15 minutes of sleep. But the message is always great, right? Like,
Yes.
it's always
Yeah.
a hit. It's
There's a purpose
never,
to it.
Vote.
it's
Don't
never,
vote.
it's never a miss. But how do you go after Michelle Obama?
No, she cleared that room. She cleared it. Like, it was
It was-
incredible.
People were like this,
Yeah.
Oh wow.
like
Just
paying
nice.
attention,
Yeah.
and the two of them just know how to tell people what to do. The memes after that were focused because were funny because people were saying Michelle Obama in 2016 when we go low, when they go low we go high. Michelle Obama 2024.
fire.
Yeah.
Flames
Fuck it all up.
Flames
Burning
rolling.
it all
yeah,
down,
It's
yes.
time.
But she said to me something that resonates with everybody, and it is the problem that the Democratic Party has. And it's like, don't wait for the party to knock on your door. It's just as simple as that. Don't wait on your party to knock on your door. You gotta do something. And I think there was a sign that says do something, and that was a chant too.
Yeah.
So to me that was important because that is something, as we volunteers know, that is so hard. It's like, why is it that people are not here? Why is it that people are not voting? Because everybody's so entitled sometimes, some folks are, that they're expecting, but it's your civic duty to get involved and to, I mean, you don't have to be involved at our level, but you can just
voting is enough for me.
Just go and vote.
Please.
Just go and vote. And
buy a t-shirt, buy some pins.
And you don't have to buy anything. Just vote, have a plan, and say, hey, I'm going to vote this election. And that was her message. It's like, just go vote. There are no excuses.
No.
Yeah.
It's so real. And, you know, I think the emphasis on time. We only have this much time left to get her elected. So we're not asking you for years of work. We're asking for 30 days or 45 days or whatever it is at this point to make sure that we get out there.
In most states, in some states, the election will start, like here in Florida, the election starts October 5th.
Yeah.
It's just as simple as that. So from now until October 5th, it's like 40 days?
Yeah.
So that's all we have. That is all we have. And if you really want change, you have to just make that effort.
I think vote, and the other thing you can do is just let people know. Talk to your friends and family. Talk to your coworkers saying, did you know that we can go vote? Did you know there's a vote, there's an election happening? You know Trump's on the ballot? Like, I think something as simple as just saying, Trump's running again. People really don't understand that there's an election. They don't even know that things like this are happening. So I think talking to people and voting is like the most I can ask for people, that I could ask of someone. Yeah, this is not the year where you say, I mean, I really hope that people understand the importance of this election. And I know the message is, that word, that phrase is always say every single election year. But the reality is what is at stake now. I mean, women's reproductive rights. It is so important. LGBTQ rights are so important. The economy. You don't need to be an economist to know that the economy does better under Democrats. Right. I mean, just check the numbers. Educate yourself. It's all out there. But people somehow think that the Democrats want to. I was talking to somebody who was telling me, oh, my family, they were Republicans, and this is somebody that I know. I just don't understand why they're going to vote for Trump. I said, maybe it's the economy. I said, okay, let's be real. Let's be real. Your family is well off, but even if they all combine their income, it's never going to favor the tax breaks that they don't have. No, they're never going to be able to take unless you're a billionaire or a multi-billionaire. Yeah. I said,
he's not doing anybody any favors.
So here's the thing. It's like, in my opinion, a lot of it comes from a point of white people losing power and racism. Yeah. It's just, that's what it is. Yeah. It's like, if you are a Republican, because when you look at the numbers, they don't support the story. Like, they're like, no, it's terrible. And Donald Trump, everything is terrible. Let's not forget that he had a Muslim ban, right? Yeah. Let's not forget about all the horrible things. The kids and the he separated immigrants. So if you really think that, and I feel angry about other than Cubans, about because that's a whole different mindset, right? Like, I can't discuss that. Yeah, I can't discuss that because I don't know what that mindset is. But somebody put it really well, and I'll tell you in a second. But here's the thing: is like, if you are a Latino, if you're an immigrant, educate yourself, because under Donald Trump, you will most likely get deported. Yeah. That is their goal.
Well, and also they want to empower police forces to pull over someone who they perceive or they looks to them as trouble. And what do you think that is? It's people of color, people who are minding their own business, that they're going to interrogate and demand identification or papers from people who are just driving down the road not doing anything, or walking down the street. They're going to go after immigrants in a way, or who they're perceiving to be here undocumented, in a way that's going to be unprecedented. That's what they want to do.
And here's the thing, especially in Florida, we have been the testing site for all these policies.
Yeah.
We really have. And people need to wake up. It's like the Cubans, for example. Like I saw this Cuban girl posting on TikTok where she was saying like, okay, you are against communism and say that the Democrats are socialist. Why is it that you come over here and you take advantage of all the services that this country provides, the socialist services that this country provide, and especially to Cubans, and then like as soon as you get your green card, you start traveling and bringing all your resources over there. What kind of nonsense is this? I mean, like, are you really anti-socialism, which it doesn't exist here, or you just a moron? She was saying, but that's the type of conversation anyway.
And the fact that they want to dismantle our social security system, right? That a lot of we see like with the villages and other people turning because that's their security, right?
Right.
Trying to get rid of that. They're threatening to get rid of the Department of Education, which no matter how many vouchers they put out there, isn't going to serve all the people. And so all these charter schools, not all of them are benefiting kids the right way. And all of that stuff that is in that Project 2025, I think people really need to realize like that this isn't just electing this person, that this is electing that entire blueprint and what the impact of that is going to be on every American, whether women can't get divorced, right? The no-fault divorce, all of these things, they're just trying to control more and more and maintain that white power, right? Because they want to make sure white people are having babies and all of that, right?
Yeah.
So that they're securing their race and they're securing that power. Like they need to wake up.
Yeah.
And the thing about the school board is like...
Oh, I want to talk to you about school board, by the way, before we leave here.
Okay, and we'll put a pin on that and write it down. School board. Because the thing about the school board is, and we're going to talk about that, is the dumbing down of America.
Yeah.
And you're a teacher, so we can talk about that later.
Yeah. All right, so do we want to talk about night three? Can I say something? I don't care about Bill Clinton. I don't want to see him again. I don't want him up there. I had it on mute and I was working and I kept looking up. I'm like, he's still here? Like, taking up too much space. I said to Tina, I'd rather they wheel out Jimmy Carter and have him blink at me a couple times than watch Bill Clinton give a 40-minute speech, however long it was, about, I don't care. This man has not been good. Isn't that why are we giving him space? I don't like it, but I can do without
listen,
him.
I think that if Bill Clinton is the worst we have, and that's the way I took it. If Bill Clinton is the worst we have, I mean, give him his time. He did say something. I don't know if you caught it, or maybe I caught it wrong, but he says he doesn't know how many of these conventions he has. I truly think that this is the last convention he'll go to.
Probably. Well,
he's 78 years old.
Yeah.
In 4 years, he'll be 82. You could see that his voice continues to get raspier and raspier and like weaker.
Shocking at this point.
And he said it there. Just look in the speech. It's like, you know.
So he's taking the time. He's taking.
I think he took the time.
His wife does.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
He looks his age more than Hillary does.
How old is Hillary?
She's only a few years younger, right?
I don't know, but all I know is the best thing that happened is that we got Hillary. That's all I know.
Yeah,
Thanks a lot for bringing her, and now you can leave. Like,
I don't know that he'll be at another as a speaker. He'll have, we love this sort of like, we don't have royals here, but we love this sort of like line of succession.
It's sort of like I'm sure he might be back because old Pelosi shuffled out onto the floor. We saw her coming out. She's in her late 80s. At this point.
Yeah, and Hillary's 76, just 2 years old. Younger.
But she definitely has a different energy than him. Like he looks worn out.
Women stay younger longer. So you have.
And also, I have a feeling that evil kind of gets inside and rots you from the inside out. So.
Okay, Hillary, tell us how you feel.
Just saying.
But anyway, I thought his speech was a little too long. We people around me were like, oh my God, he is taking a while.
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, he is taking a while. But then Tim Walz.
Oh! Wait, is this also the same night as... No, did Doug Emhoff talk on... He talked on Thursday.
No, he did it on Wednesday.
Okay, because both of those two men were like giving me all the feels.
It is
the most non-toxic masculinity love for women, uplifting women that I've ever seen in my life. I have so much... This is the man... heterosexual men. This is what we need from you. This is what we're looking for.
And some gay men.
Well, we always can get your support. I'm talking about the men that come into our lives that, love us in that romantic way. We need that sort of non-toxic, masculine, supportive men. These two were perfect examples of and that's what they were mostly attacked for online, is that they were so soft. A soft place to land for women is what we need, and that's what they.
But it goes
did.
back to their messaging, right? Like the Republican message is that we need this masculine, macho type of thing. So to them, having very what is the word? Emotionally connected men who are actually love this country for the well-being of the country, not for their own benefit.
Yeah.
They see that as a threat.
So tell me, Tim Walz walks out.
It was.
Tell me.
It was first introduction, right? Like he had all these
the football guys.
The football guys.
Loved it.
Yeah, the football guys, and then after he comes in and it was just the excitement.
Yeah.
It's just he's like the guy that you want to have a beer with, and that you want to just like have a nice conversation out in the backyard.
Yeah.
He's a guy, as a woman, I'd have a beer with, and I wouldn't have to cover it because I think he's going to do something terrible.
No.
I would trust having a drink with him. I know that sounds crazy, but from a woman's perspective,
Of course.
he seems like someone you can trust having a drink with. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He's a guy that you can go open up a bottle of beer, sit by the pool, or just in your backyard, and he will give you good advice, right? Like you will feel like empowered to do something, and that's just who he is. I mean, listen, there is. And people in his state love him.
Yeah.
Love him.
Imagine having a governor like that. Oh,
I know, huh? I mean, he has a connection. And they told us every night the message is towards the last speaker, right? They tell you the whole story about, and every speech has something about that person. And it's just to know that Tim Walz is a guy that he just didn't protect that kid, the gay kid, because he one day thought that he was going to be president. He did it because it was the right thing to do. He joined the GSA. It's because it was the right thing to do. He did all these things because he fixed the tire because it was the right thing to do. So to know that we can have leaders that are doing the things because it's the right thing to do, not because it's going to benefit them, it's amazing.
It's tremendous.
It's what the public service is about.
Right.
That's what it's about. Serving the public, not serving yourself, which is all you ever hear from the other side.
And when he made, one of the things he said during that speech, and I don't know it verbatim, but he was like, they're out there banishing books, right? And we're banishing hunger in our state. They're banning books and we're banishing hunger. He's like, we're doing things that are actually helping the people within our community and not harming them. Right. And so.
But that has, to me at least, that's always been the message of the Democratic Party. It's not to take away rights. It's to give the people who don't have any rights, so they can live a better life.
Right. And a sense of community, right? That we look out for each other. It's not just about ourselves.
There are Catholic Democrats that are, that are not in support of abortion, but yet they're not out there preaching oh my God, abortion bans. Right. It's just a different way of sending a message. It is possible to give people rights while still keeping your opinion. Yeah. And you don't, like they say, if you don't want to be, if you don't, want to have an abortion, don't have one, right?
Yeah. There was also a tone that I felt was appropriate and perfect throughout the whole thing. Because even though Trump was brought up, he wasn't brought up in a way that I felt was, obviously he does the name calling and all of that, but it was brought up in a way of, here's what he's already done and here's what he's going to continue to do. Right. And also pointing out that he's always talking about himself. Obama had mentioned that. Yeah. It's him. He's always complaining about, what is the good things about this country that he likes? Has Trump ever said that? And what I got out of all those Democratic speeches are, here's the things we're going to do, and here's who we're going to impact, and here's who we're going to benefit. And it's always about progression and moving forward and protecting and being good. And even Todd Delmay, who we all know, who's a local Democrat here and leader, he had put a picture of him at the DNC, and he said, I've been a Democrat since I was a kid because my grandfather looked at me and said, and he said to his grandfather, "Why are we Democrats?" And he said, "Because Democrats help people." And that is so true. It's so real. That's the message of the Democratic Party is how can we help and protect people? And you can be a Democrat and against abortion, but knowing that you are protecting women, like the whole thing about Roe v. Wade is it's a broad, protecting abortion rights is a broad thing because you can't nitpick the parts that you don't want. Oh, someone who's getting it that's not going to save their life or just because they got pregnant on accident or whatever. You can't do this. It's got to be broad because look at what happens when it's not. You're impacting women who are trying to get pregnant and it didn't work. Something went wrong. And so, yeah, I thought the tone wasn't attacking people. It was just so different than what we saw at the RNC. It was so much more hopeful, you know?
Imagine being a speechwriter for the RNC.
Oh my God.
My favorite things were those side-by-sides. Where it was just like with the roll call side-by-side.
Okay, can we talk about the roll call?
Yes.
The best part.
The best part. Best part. It was so the roll call. You have to wait until like your state is there because you're there for so many hours. So I didn't get to see live. Many because I'm like waiting for Florida. Okay, I gotta go to the bathroom. I gotta go eat something because you still have like 5 more hours until this thing is over. And it was just so emotional. It was just so. And listen, some states did better than others, but the reality is like no matter what state you were from, it was just the excitement in the folks from every state. It was just so emotional, and you see the numbers pop up on the screen. And it's a very unique thing. And this year they had music. I don't know if you noticed.
Yes, music tied to the state.
So we had the Tom Petty song that Chair Fried has been using for over a year. And it was fun, and it was just so. It was a happy moment. It was like New Jersey, we got 12 delegates.
RNC,
at the RNC. But this was like excitement.
And I love that, like.
And I look on TV like at the range person with my hand like.
I was noticing they were picking songs from the artists, like
from the
Prince
artists
from
Minnesota. Not for every state, but for most of them.
Most states, but they were. I mean, listen.
And then like what they were proud of, like
the state, from the state of like
this and the state of that and the state of this, and like outlining these things that like the state is about. It was just so again joyous and uplifting and pointing out the positive of the things that are going on.
And also it made you feel like you were a part of an entire country, a United States of America that is all here together. Working toward one goal to get Kamala Harris elected. It just made you feel connected to everybody.
The little like quirks of each state, like it just was so cool. It was so.
It was probably one of
brilliant.
The top
Whoever
3
put that together.
Brilliant. I mean, listen, kudos to the DNC organizers of the convention because that is a mammoth production. It is.
And also they had a different candidate 30 days before. Like it was like
you had a different candidates. Those tickets became really hot and like everybody won because you can also get like all the way up in the bleachers.
Oh, so you can be a regular person?
You can be a regular person.
Damn, my
all week Tina's like, I just really wish that we had been there. I'm like, that would have been great, but I don't think we're not delegates.
And there's overflow too, and there's overflow because everybody wants to be inside the arena, but there's always in the halls, and there's rooms where people watch also. I mean, it is, and then they show also on the last day, they show all the watch parties.
Oh yes, I love that. I love that.
That was fun. That was fun. But that roll call, it was so unique.
I think I'm gonna go back and watch that again.
I need to go back and watch.
I was crying watching it.
At the next Dolphins meeting,
it felt like a victory.
You should play the Florida part, maybe.
I am gonna actually at the debate watch party.
Oh, the debate! Yes, we're having a debate.
I'm gonna play a few. That's where we're having. That's where we're gonna be doing the little raffles.
Nice.
It's gonna be like more of like a paddle raffle, like who got $10, $20, $15. And all that money is gonna go to get out the vote effort, and then we're gonna be playing like the little clips of the clips that were really important, like the Michelle Obama stuff, like the roll call. The roll call felt like a winning moment. Like this is what winning could look like.
But also, can I say too, the Florida bit Like, I don't know what it's like to be there from Florida, but to live here and be a Democrat is painful. It really can be a painful place, but there is, because we have such a struggle and so much working against us, that to see us represented there, it meant a lot to me, because I don't want Florida left behind. I don't want us to be forgotten.
And here's the thing that I want to tell everybody, right? Like, there are about over 50 employees and folks employed by the Harris campaign. So we're not left behind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I want to remind everybody that as of today, we have 72 days to the election day, actually November 5th. But in Florida, we only have like 40 days.
Yeah.
So we got to talk about strategy, right? You got to go to the states where you have the ability to win. So I don't want people to get like, oh my God, they never came to Florida, because they will be here.
No, I want them to be where we can actually.
But we have such a, and I also want to remind everybody that Kamala Harris has been here like 3 or 4 times this year.
Saw her, remember?
Yeah, 3 or 4 times just this year, and then you guys saw her last year when she went to Tallahassee. But she has been here. But if you don't see the Harris-Walz train arriving to your station, it's not because they don't want to come here. It's because now more than ever, as Democrats, we have to be strategic, and we need them in states where we're like they're right there, neck to neck,
Pennsylvania,
like Pennsylvania, Michigan, all these states, Arizona. All these states, that's where we need them. If we get them, we'll be lucky, but it doesn't mean that they have abandoned the state. It means just that we have to do a little bit more of work to make sure that we bring this wing to...
and there the state party.
Because here's the thing, it's like there are other people that are going to be doing the job. Like, for example, the re-elected Danielle Cava-Levine.
Yes.
In
Miami.
In Miami, she has offices around that the party they're going to be using to help elect other Democrats and help elect Kamala Harris. And she's just an example in Miami, right?
And there's going to be offices, I'm sure, in Broward. I mean, I know there's a lot of stuff happening like west.
I know.
Some east offices.
I believe that Harris-Walz also has a couple offices, and they're going to be doing campaign stuff from there. So there are folks here who are connected to the Harris-Walz campaign that are going to be doing the job as surrogates, as they also trying to get other Democrats elected and themselves elected. Yeah. So just because you don't see the principals here, it doesn't mean that we're not doing the work.
No, I don't need her to come here, but I'd rather them go to those states. I get that totally. And then that's our job.
Yeah, and that is our job to make sure that we spread that message of joy, because and possibly because it is easy to say, well, they never came to Florida.
Yeah.
And chances are they're not going to come to Florida.
And also, if we want them to come to Florida, then we better get our asses to work and make it a fucking state that looks like it can be flipped. So they start showing, so they come out.
And we had an opportunity this week. And I'm telling you, if I was part of the...
Yeah, go ahead. I was going to say...
If I was part of the strategic team for the Harris-Walz campaign, I was watching those elections on Tuesday.
Yes.
And the voter turnout... And let me tell you... they did the math, we have knocked in 1 million doors in Florida. Over 1 million doors so far this year. All combined, right? Like all combined, we have across the state. And it is incredible. It is incredible that people still don't think that the primary elections were important. Especially in Florida, in democratic areas like Broward, Miami-Dade, Palm Beach, where the elected person in the primary pretty much is the winner of the election.
Right, yeah.
Because they're so heavily Democratic counties. And voter registration is still low. I mean, especially in Broward County, we only have 126,000 out of the 500. And again, numbers don't lie.
Yeah.
Over 60% of those people voted by mail.
Yeah. It's a big deal.
It's a big deal, and people need to wake up. You what?
A lot of the vote by mails weren't sent back either. That was another thing too. A lot of them stayed at their, didn't send them back, right?
And that is okay, but still.
Because now we'll get it for the main election.
Because here's the way that vote by mail works. It's a constant reminder on your kitchen table that you have to vote.
Yeah.
Or on your dining table, or whatever you have it. Expecting that, not knowing is hard. I have answered so many phone calls to people asking me, who do I vote for?
Yeah.
Because my number is on the Dolphin Dem's website. and it's just incredible. Like there was an enthusiasm, but we still have a lot of work to do.
We do, because it was.
I
It wasn't
posted
even 20%.
I posted the Dolphins card a lot, and a lot of people I know were like, "Thanks for the cheat sheet." Like they wanted it. They're glad
I
that they had
texted
it.
it to.
And listen,
a lot
we
of
had an
people.
80% win rate.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you before we close out.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you about, because you weren't here on Tuesday when we had the primary election, and our school board now looks a lot different than when you flew out of here to Chicago. Now we've got this brand new school board starting in November, and the 2 DeSantis appointees are gone, and of course our good
Not
friend.
quite yet.
Well, one of them's going to be going to
the States.
No, but they don't
They're
get
there till November.
They're until November. Yeah.
So how do you feel about this? And were you expecting this?
Was expecting this, low-key expecting this, because I saw a numbers person. I saw the number of Democrats that were voting in comparison to the Republicans, and I think although school boards and municipal seats are nonpartisan, you have to jump on if you're a Democrat, you cannot play it that way. I mean, you don't have to say I'm a Democrat, but you have to let the Kamala Harris and the Walz train just take you all the way to the finish line. Because if you don't, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
There is nothing, if you don't jump on that train, you're going to be left behind. It's just as simple as that.
When the top of the ticket looks like this, how are you not going to be succcessful all the way down?
It's just that. So I sort of knew, as you all know, I was helping in the Sarah Lunardi campaign.
Oh, yes.
And Emma and we knew that Sarah was going to win. We just didn't know that Sarah was just going to crush that little Jason Lauren. Crush him. Like I called Sarah the night and I said, do you need like a scraper to get him out of the bottom of your shoe?
It was wild.
But here's the thing, right? And I had conversations with pretty much every candidate that won the election that we endorsed. And I was talking to Dr. Holness, and I was saying, congratulations, we were having a conversation. She's like, yes, next is who. I'm not going to say her name because I don't want anybody. And I said, okay, so let's start planning and making sure that we put somebody there that we can support right now and not wait
till the last minute.
Until the last minute, right? Because we need only one Democratic candidate in that side. We don't need 2, we don't need 3. We need 1, and we need to back him, and we need to support him, and we need to donate to them, and that's it. Because let's also remember that the DeSantis reign ends in 2 years.
In 2 years.
So.
I wish
thing
it was this election
and you know what,
season.
we didn't really mention on the podcast today, but also DeSantis puts out his own voter guide where he supports people, and he didn't list the 2 guys in Broward because he knew it would make it worse. But most of the people he supported did not win re-election for the school boards.
And
his
people
aren't interested
all
in this.
the Moms for Liberty back candidates.
People are not interested in that.
Oh, and they're so bitter, especially these ones on Broward, on Citizens Uncensored group. They are so bitter because they're so full of hate. They're really so full of. I went and I posted just to mess with one of them. And I usually, when I post, I don't go back unless it's my own post and check. But apparently she was really angry, which it gives me a lot of pleasure because I would have ignored it. But she just kept posting after me, trying to get it because I never replied to her. And it was kind of funny. But it's just like that thing that is like, unless every kid lives the life that I want for them.
Right.
It's like nobody, the school board is terrible. Right. So I want every child to live this conservative life that I have designed for my children. And other than that, nothing is acceptable.
And it's outrageous. Live your life the way you want to live your life.
Thank you, yeah.
Right? Because I would never want members of the school board to then say to those families, like, you can't raise your child that way, right? So don't do it to mine.
And what is
they
it?
don't see
and also,
that.
what does it have
they
to,
have some obligation?
And also, what does anything she screams about have to do with schools?
Well, and that's
I don't
the
hear
other
her
thing.
ever say
I have
anything
to
that actually
tell you
benefits children.
That out at the polls, I cannot tell you how many people would say to, and I happen to be a more Republican polling site, but it would, hey, vote for Sarah Lunardi. Oh, is she against, abortion? Is she against killing babies? Is she against? And I'm like, well, that's not really a policy that the school board members vote on. I could talk to you about that and I wouldn't even engage the conversation.
I would
What
have
are
told
you
her,
supposed
yeah,
to say?
she is against
Yeah.
killing babies. Nobody wants to kill babies.
Yeah.
But the first
Well,
day,
I mean,
the first
obviously,
day,
I'm like, what? But I'm like, what are you talking
the first day
about?
after the school board election on the Wednesday, you know, someone came in, that Anna Fusco came in and started yelling at that school board member, and I think I tweeted it. I was like, the next couple of years of her on the school board are going to be torture, and it couldn't have happened to a better person. Like, she's so awful, especially around LGBTQ children in the school system. I mean, she literally, about the trans child a few weeks ago, was misgendering them and using the wrong pronouns. It was just so damaging and painful, and she doesn't have any clue what she's doing. So good.
Yeah.
I'm glad that the cheese is standing alone, and she's going to have to deal with all of this.
Yeah, but we also have to stay, you know, like I'm gonna put a little bit of caution. Just because we are gonna have only one outlier, possible two, because one of them is kind of wishy-washy,
Yes.
the current chair of the school board. But we gotta be careful, right? We gotta be careful because these candidates that just won, they're gonna have an election in 4 years. But most important, the candidates that didn't have an election this year, they're gonna have an election in 2 years.
Yeah.
So we gotta be careful. But one takeaway, it was the Rebecca Thompson seat. This is what happened when you put somebody from what you think. So my point of view is this: the Alstons are very well known in the cis-drunk area, but the black communities are divided into like Caribbean, you know,
Yeah.
like Black American,
Right.
Black folks, like Haitians too as well. So just the same way as I don't think that every Latino identify with my views,
Right.
it doesn't mean that because you are and you don't even live in the district
that's the thing.
that everybody's going to support you. And it
Right.
showed. It showed that the Caribbean community that lives in the areas in a district where he didn't even live to begin with, his kids don't go to school there.
It's outrageous.
That he thought that, oh, this is the one that I am going to win, and
Right.
no, and that is a lesson also for the Democratic Party. We gotta put the right candidate in the right seat. Like, it can't be just somebody that, oh, well, you know, this is the seat that we want you to, because no, it has to be representation matters, and it has to be the right candidate in the right seat.
Right.
And then the final night, did we talk about the final night?
The what?
The final day night.
final
the-
night.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. No, we haven't. Talk about
Yeah.
Kamala. Let's talk about Kamala.
Okay, let's talk about everything. What do you guys want to talk about that? It was so exciting when she came out.
Yeah.
It was so, that stage, let's talk about
She
it.
looks
The
gorgeous.
technical.
The suit was incredible,
No,
by the way.
it was presidential.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was presidential.
That
It was,
bow.
you know what I noticed? Because I've been through these marketing classes, and sometimes I say that if women put on softer colors, they are more, you know, like, more likable by men.
Yeah.
And she went on with a
The
black
darkest
suit,
blue.
darkest blue, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't see it right, but it was like,
No, it was
you're like,
powerful, strong.
I'm your president,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I'm here to tell you what it is.
I don't need to look motherly
No.
or overly
No.
feminine or whatever.
It
that
was
is.
it was like a big fu to everybody who's like, so like, oh, what she's gonna wear? No,
Yeah.
she wore what she wanted. I'm sure that
Yeah.
she had advice on, like, you know, what cut to pick.
Yeah.
But it was like a power move, like.
Yeah.
On the stage, they turned on the lights in like brown, and it was just,
Everything
it was
about
just,
it was perfection.
it was like she telling the world, I am the current vice
Yeah.
president, and I'm gonna be your president.
Yeah.
On November 6th,
It felt so
after
good,
the election.
yeah.
But yeah, it was so
also-
great, and her
yeah.
speech was just
Oh,
so
Her speech.
incredible.
Here's what I love too, that she really hammered home, which was again a tone of the entire convention, is this country is our country. We love this country as much as you love this country.
Yes.
You say you're patriots. We're fucking patriots too.
Right.
We stand up for the right things in this country. We're
Right.
here too. Her story is the American fucking dream.
Yeah.
This is what it is. Her parents, what they've done here, come on, man. They came here talking about her mother. I couldn't stop. And even when she accepted the nomination on behalf of my mother, I was like,
Right.
God, it is
And
just incredible.
On the behalf of all Americans, and
Yes.
making that point to say that everyone, no matter who you are, like, I'm on your side. It's not. There's nothing divisive in her
Yeah.
language at all,
Yeah.
and that is so important.
and that message when what's his name, Adam the Republican guy,
Kinzinger?
Kinzinger.
Yeah.
He when he says, you know, like Democrats are just as patriotic and then you start seeing the flags.
Oh,
Yep.
yes.
Like we reclaim the United States
Yes,
of America flag.
I felt that
Yeah,
too.
I saw.
I was
Yeah,
like,
I
yes,
saw a
like
right-wing,
now we get to be
they were-
because you feel like you can't wave a flag around because you're automatically labeled a Republican. Like
I mean,
they
that's what I do.
we-
I do that.
they
I'll
have
label people.
high, yeah,
I do that.
high track that.
We reclaim like flag, and I'm ordering flags for the debate.
But
Anyway,
also, the same thing with I saw a right wing podcaster and he was very upset about this. They're wearing camo. They're using the flag. Like they know, they see what
Yeah.
we're doing. That we are now going to.
we're reclaiming
take
things
it.
that are American.
That
They're
are
not
American
partisan.
and not party. Go, yes, that's it.
That it, and that night we reclaim, and she went on and she gave the best speech
Yeah.
of her
I gotta rewatch that
lifetime
again, too.
as of right now. I know.
Yeah.
I feel like I gotta go and watch the whole thing.
I think
because-
it's the best presidential accepted, like nomination accepted speech I've ever seen.
and
too.
it was just and I just love the way that she speaks.
Yeah.
Like I just
So
I
good.
just love the way that she speaks.
She knows how to make a case. She knows how to sell the case.
She is
yeah.
a prosecutor.
We were the jury, and that he's
Yes.
guilty. He's
I'm
guilty.
like, yeah. I was like, okay, that's my vote.
I don't need to just take my vote. He's guilty.
Unanimous
Yeah.
decision. You don't need to go back and talk.
Yeah.
And I wanna, you know what? Since like we're talking about ballots and casting your vote, I wanna remind Floridians
Yeah.
that hurricane season does not end until November.
The end of November.
Yeah. So it is wise, and the supervisor of election in Broward County has a new hurricane-proof office that is not gonna get flooded,
Yeah.
and they can
I love
keep
Joe
you.
Scott.
Yeah, I love Joe Scott. That they're gonna keep your ballot safe there all the time once you send it. So it is now the time to register to vote by mail, so you can start voting the second week in October.
Yes.
Right.
And then you can just go on vacation, go anywhere and say, I
And the
voted.
Dolphin Dems card, their endorsement card will be out soon.
Yes.
After we do all these endorsements in the next month. So
Yeah.
please go to dolphindems.org
Yeah.
to find the card, and you can use it as a cheat sheet, and know that the members they've gone through questionnaires and they have been fully vetted by the members and
Yep. And voted on and
elected.
endorsed
Yeah,
by-
endorsed by the Dolphin
by the
Democrats.
members,
Yeah.
yep.
I fully support that card.
Yep.
Thank you. There was something about school board you want to talk
That
about.
was it. I
That was
wanted to
it,
talk
yeah.
about how it's completely
Yeah.
changed. I'm excited about it.
It has. Yeah, it's exciting, but just let's be cautious.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's
I
be
can
cautious.
be cautious.
Let's be cautious.
I also just wanna
cautiously
say-
optimistic.
Just want to enjoy the time of
Enjoy
it.
it, enjoy it. But the problem is, let's not be the Obama era, right? Where we finally elected an incredible president, and then 2 years later we had the Tea Party.
Yeah.
The Tea Party, and they are, the new version of that Tea Party
It's worse.
is
Monster
worse.
Liberty kind of
So let's remember that. Let's be cautious. Let's continue to remind folks that, especially in Florida, where a voter registration, a vote by mail ballot registration gets expunged every 2 years.
Right.
After every election. So we're gonna spend millions of dollars in trying to get people to vote by mail, and then just
get
to
to
start
do
the
it
same
again.
process in October, and it
Yeah.
goes precinct by precinct, like we have to.
Yeah. Speaking of precinct, am not a precinct person now? What's going
That,
on?
I saw Joe.
I saw that
Scott's
too.
signing.
I'm waiting for my certificate.
You'll
Am
get
I-
it in the next week or
because
two.
I need to be going to meetings. I need to know what's going on around here. I need to see what's happening.
And I think everybody who is a precinct captain
Yes.
needs to go to meetings.
I
I think
gotta
it's
start going.
important.
I gotta
I
start
think it's
going.
important that everybody
Yes.
attends, and it's
they're
just,
so far
and
away.
it's also not the same people, but nothing changes
I know.
unless you're part of it. Like
All right.
you know.
Now we're going to meetings.
Tina will carpool.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, like, listen, you can go to the meetings. You don't have to stay for the whole meeting if the meeting is too long. I have to give credit. It's like the meetings are an hour and a half tops, max.
Yeah.
It's not those 3 hour meetings anymore. So
That's good.
go for us done. We all live different life with different responsibilities. And some people can give 30 minutes in one night. Some people can stay there for 3 hours, 2 hours, one night. So just go for the part that you can, and let your voice be heard.
Absolutely, it's
Okay.
important.
All
Well,
right.
listen, we love you so much.
Thank you
love you
so much
too.
for
And,
coming on and sharing your
I
experience
know.
with us and for our
I was so
listeners.
exhausted yesterday and today, like literally physically exhausted. I couldn't even move out of my couch.
Oh.
But I'm like, we need to do this because we got to get people excited.
Excited, and
Yes.
also there's no one more deserving than you to be
And-
there.
but-
really
but
do,
it-
do the work.
thank
It's
you.
not some random
No.
fly by nights. Alfredo is out there doing it all the time.
And frankly,
the most deserving.
with this sweeping win in Broward,
Yeah.
I mean, I think it has a lot to do with Alfredo, with Emma, with people that
Yeah.
stand by candidates, work with candidates. It wouldn't happen without you.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
It wouldn't.
But, you know, but it's just not me. I'm
I know,
just
but you're the leader.
I'm
you,
just
you,
the leader,
you
but it's
delegate. You tell us.
correct. But it's a lot of work. It's
Yeah.
everybody who is on the board, everybody who's not on the board and helps Hillary, everybody who comes to meetings, and everybody who wants to spread the word that, you know, we are doing something and that we're gonna win this. And just get different. You like, we gotta meet people where they are, and that doesn't mean physical, geographical location. It just means do something that folks will like.
Yeah.
Like whether it's host a house party, host a ice cream, you know,
I was thinking,
go for coffee.
I was going to suggest a bingo night. I have a bingo night.
I wanna
Trivia
let's
night.
do a bingo night.
Let's do a bingo night because I can do this.
Yeah.
I got one of those things if you want to use it.
Let's do a
I'm
bingo
here
night.
for it. Let's
Yeah.
do a bingo night.
Yeah, and here's the thing: we can tie it up. Like we can just go ahead and make 45 minutes of phone calls and then do a
Yes.
bingo night.
Oh,
right?
Yes.
amazing.
Like
Amazing.
stuff like that. And my plan, my goal is to go precinct by precinct. So Monday, I'm gonna analyze the data, and I'm gonna see which ones are the precincts with the lowest voter turnout by mail, and get those people. And somebody said, you're obsessed with vote by mail. I'm like,
No,
you already got
gotta
your
get
ballot.
out. Yeah.
You know what I think also that I really loved in the crowd and I really want is the bobblehead, like the giant heads of Kamala and Tim Walz. Like
Yes.
those would be good prizes to hand out for
I'll
bingo
get
wins.
those too.
To have like one of those. Wouldn't that be so fun to give those out?
I'll
I do
get those
too.
too. Like the ones that I have for the memo
Yes.
style.
Yes.
Yes, exactly like that.
Where's my head, by the way?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I hit to my closet.
Back to the closet. I'm with that. I'm back in the
Yes,
closet.
we're back with that. Sorry. Oh, horrible ally. Put it back in the closet.
She put me back in the closet.
I did. To be honest, I did sleep next to it for a while just to see what it would like because it's never gonna happen. But I was like, maybe Alfredo. I'll wake up next to Alfredo every morning.
How was it?
It was amazing. I mean,
No
it was
bad-
good for me. It was
no
good
ba-
for me.
No bad breath, huh?
That's right. Well, you are the best. We love you so
Yes.
much.
Thank
and
you.
You're,
Thank you.
You are just always been one of our super supportive
Thank you.
friends, and we just love you so much.
I love you guys. Let's win this.
Let's win!
Yes, let's win this.
Oh my god, I'm so excited.
It's gonna happen.
All right.
It is
well,
gonna happen.
We will see you soon.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.